Here's one more instructive pitfall in Java. We've talked about primitive types and their object equivalents. For example, int is a primitive type. Capital I integer is an object type that is equivalent to int. The object type implements equals in the correct way. So if you create two integer objects with the same value, they will be equals to each other. So if we make capital I integer represents 3 and a different capital I integer that also represents 3, then x and y will compare equal using the equals method. But there's a subtle problem here. Equals equals is actually overloaded for these types. For reference types like capital I integer, it implements referential equality. So where x dot equaled y, x equals y is going to return false because these are two different objects in memory. But for primitive types like int, equals implements behavioral equality. In particular, if you cast this x, this capital I integer, into an int and ask whether it's equals to y cast to an int, that's going to return true. So you can't really use capital I integer interchangeably with int because they behave differently using this operation, this very important operation. Unfortunately, Java automatically converts between int and capital I integer. This is called, if you want to Google for it, auto-boxing and auto-unboxing, because you're wrapping the primitive type into an object type. That's what the boxing means. And that automatic conversion can lead to subtle bugs. You have to be aware of what the compile time types of your expressions are. So consider this. You have a map that maps strings to capital I integers. In fact, you have two of them. You have one called A and you have one called B. And into A, we're going to put 130. And that actually, behind the scenes, auto-boxes it into a capital I integer representing 130. We'll do the same thing into B. We'll get a different capital I integer in the same way we got a different capital I integer up here. And now if we ask, well, if I get the value assigned to C in A, and I similarly get the value assigned to B to C in B, each case I'm going to get out something representing 130, but now they will have type capital I integer. And the comparison will use this, and it will return false. So you can see this code in action on the online Python tutor.